Good morning and welcome to today's crypto day morning, and today's date is coming in that of Wednesday 19th of December 2018. All bets, trades, and of the like with one's each own risk and their own reward. I got some lines drawn in on Bitcoin. They were put in yesterday on the Fibonacci analysis from these 3,000 lows and the big highs at 20,000. These are all small levels, but getting above the first two so far in the daily chart relatively quickly. So I'm going to be looking if it's going to be able to keep moving higher for it to break 4,000 and even get near or probably get a little above the 4,100 handle. As far as the single hour term time frame, this Fibonacci level is pretty much doing the same thing as it did with the last one, meaning that it got above it nicely, but only for an okay leg, and then correcting through that of price and support, or no, correcting through support at Fibonacci rather than resistance. And then when you see that, that's extraordinary. Does this mean when you're seeing this range going through that we're heading to the next level? Well, in this case, it did. And now we can see that the resistance level at around 37.88 that was established at 2200 hours Eastern time last night has been taken out. Nice pattern as it's been riding amongst the 18 average and 15-minute term. We can see in this case here getting above and then breaking higher. Now what's really interesting is these advertisements that come on TradingView. That a few days ago I noticed that they weren't popping up anymore, and for about 2 days or maybe another day more, not only did I not restart the computer, I didn't even restart the browser. And the ads are just not even showing up at all, which was another main reason why I'm like, this is interesting. And I used to know computers very well from when I first got one and was learning them in college, which would be like 1995, up until well into 2000s as far as all the technical mumbo jumbo and doing different things within the computer itself. But I find that relatively interesting anyway. I was trying to figure out if there's any possible ways I can make it so that those advertisements either don't appear or come up a lot less. Alright then, so 15-minute time frame looking nice on the possible breakout, and the target level I got is at 4,100. As far as any retracements are concerned to the downside, markets go up, markets go down. So we have this low because everything's staying below the 18 average. That's a bear move. Bull moves are everything staying above the 18 average, and it's only day 2 of doing such. So now it's bears having their turn, the bulls will. So amongst its move, we'll see if there's any short-term or intermediate resistance at the 4,100 mark. And from that point on, and you're looking for correctionary moves, well, the 18 average on these shorter term time frames have to give, and then it's going to come down to Fibonacci retracement from these lows at around 32 or 31.29, and whatever the highs happen to be. And currently we're pretty much right at it at 38.68. Just going through some of my codes, showing some of the losers. No, I see that my Swarm City token ontology is down, and in a lot of cases Swarm City token just has an interesting spot here, as the 18 average has been not support on the lows but close to it. However, up move, down move, is this a key area for support? Question mark. If I was looking in this to enter in the position, I don't want to buy this as this is breaking above the 18 as an entry. This would probably be a spot, and I've had a few trades back and forth, so far small gains amongst the such, with the market pretty much moving sideways. But ontology was also a loser today, and we can see it's giving a retracement back. This is AID, which is down so far today 10%. Coming back down, but it looks like it's breaking down below the 18 low, so it looks like it's setting up a possible move, maybe towards 500 or a pierce below, and that's just as a possible support level. You could be heading 400 or lower if that doesn't hold. Decred is also amongst my losers, but it had a small gain back to previous high, pulling back, really holding it around 46.8. I think is important for DCR. Within poly, after having this level of resistance established, successful correction within the 18, managing to go back to previous high, has now been correcting back to the newly rising 18 average of highs. And as I stated, important to hold this area. Now it's in correctionary mode, so therefore it's going to be very big to have this 18 average hold. And what's nice about these setups, if it's able to stay maybe 2, 3, 4 days in here, you get the pattern, the setups going well, and then you see it breaking out maybe a few days after that. That can oftentimes lead to patterns that are so nice for bullish setups. Litecoin also amongst the losers so far, down today against Bitcoin, that of 2.18%. This will be the last one amongst the losers I'm going to show. I'm going to show the better gainers after this, but I'm going to show 3 different Litecoin crosses. First against Bitcoin, as you can see, getting above the 18, matching this previous high. How beautiful of a pattern this could be if it could make an inverted head and shoulders pattern, or even just go sideways. Because as I look at it, I can make this the possible left shoulder, this the possible head, and if it's able to hold those areas that I talk about near the 18 average of lows, or in this case the 75, 76 handle, and even going down to the 74 handle, then that would create the right shoulder, then make it back up to what the neckline is, currently in at about 850. So that would be interesting in itself. Against Ethereum, Litecoin has managed to fall back a little bit over the last couple days. Ethereum overperforming Litecoin at this spot. Back now at this previous level of resistance, 18 average of highs. So previous key hold here is like the 278 coming down to the 18 average of lows. But when we look at these declines, these are against Ethereum and Bitcoin. And if we look at Litecoin against the US fiat currency, it's still grinding its way higher on its 6th consecutive update in a row. As amongst its 1 hour time frame, it obviously has not been giving in. Looking at some cryptos doing well against Bitcoin. Here we have Stratus, which managed to establish this resistance, correct the 18 well, have a failed breakdown, fast move higher, not resist this area here. At least if it did it do it so short term? The answer is for about 8 hours. It resisted a beautiful break and back to support. So where are we going on the daily? Where we're reaching the previous high from October the 24th. Looking at this on the weekly term time frame, as such is showing, it's just making an attempt from this neutral market, as it's been somewhat sideways, but getting above it. I like to even see it extend further, maybe up to about the 39.40 handle. And then if it does that, I'd be saying the same sort of deal. If it at least gets to that, I want to see it hold the newly rising 18. But an attempt in reverting the trend is what we are seeing with the move over the last few days. LSK was only 7 basis points lower than this previous low in here, but it's now back to that previous key area after several days going sideways, resisting the 18 highs and supporting its lows. Well, today is the breakout day, so where do I want to see it hold? Can you see where previous resistance is? If you can't, you might be blind, but I think you can. NLC2 looks really, really good. This is no limit coin too. So it had its break above the 18 there. The statement was it's reverting the trend. 2 days going sideways. Then a beautiful up day. 2 days going sideways. You know, this has the opportunity today to get well into the 300s as a conservative target within the single hour time frame. There's just not much volatility to make that look good. Now my lines look, yeah, whatever. But it's been riding the 18 average really, really nicely. We can see how it's looking like it's lifting off from this point, and it's doing so as it's breaking this previous key resistance of 284. So very nice setup right now amongst NLC2. Populous PPT also making a small statement, trying to get out of this band and back to this previous key congestion area in here. So now we'll see how the 18 average holds this. There could be extended gains along the way, but overall in the 18, it still needs to get above or to about the 5200 to make it to the 18 highs on the weekly chart. Verge has got a beautiful setup of brewing, and has been for a while. You get up to this area here, successfully correct the 18 for quite many days. It's resisted here, resisted here. Today it has broken out above such an event, weekly term time frame. I mean, it's just really hanging in there, not doing much, but does it have the potential to get to the 18 highs? That's a gain of like 20 points. That's an additional 10%. That's okay. It could getting above this into the 250s is making a statement and breaking more longer term trends behind. But short term, having it hold around 185 to about the 180, I think is going to be very, very important. As we can see this on the 4-hour, there's your break of resistance in here and showing that it's in the process of having its leg higher right now. QTUM on the 4-hour term time frame has been making some beautiful plays as of this big resistance, correction, breaks resistance, beautiful move. And this resistance is support here. So it has this move, there's a support, breaks the short-term resistance in here. And then it has a leg higher, but barely. But the beautiful part was this process in here was congesting at this upper end where it spent very little time upon such. And now this little move in here has gotten above this short-term congestion resistance area. And we can see here it's just settling in, starting to congest, staying within this short-lived area of above 616 to 636. So something like this, I want to even take a look at the shorter term time frame. What's going on in here? I can see how it's nicely correcting through time on the single hour, 15-minute. Okay, there we have it, playing amongst this shorter term resistance coming in between 634 and 640. So I think getting above 638 gives it high potential for a good gain, and even more so getting above 645. Looking at this upon the weekly term time frame, what's amazing about this is the previous week comes up to the 18 average of highs, pulls back, now is making it back there, so it does look poised as if it might want to make a statement to get above, and a decent leg higher above the 18 average of highs should take it even at least to around the 800-ish area. Tron within its weekly chart is making that a statement now that it's looking to revert the trend after the week November 26th getting to the highs, having 2 weeks just consolidating near such, and this week breaking out above it. Amongst the daily term time frame, what more do I need to say about this setup in here? This is just magnificently beautiful when you see plays like this. So to me, does it look like there's anything getting in its way for previous resistance? Yeah, little bit. But when you see this, where do I want to see it hold? Let's look at this key area where we have a bit of resistance. That the line didn't push the button, I guess, didn't work. There's the line. And somewhere around here, to me, I think is the nice little key hold. But even shorter term, if it pulls back, I'd like to see it come down to maybe just 400. Or as low as 398. But this thing does have the potential, as shown on the weekly term, and I can't see it too well here, of course, but to have maybe a decent size further continuation upon its play. And we'll finish this off with an AGI, which is singularity net. In this situation, having this level of resistance, having at first what looked like a successful correction amongst the 18. This was a spot where it really needed to get going. It didn't. It failed the 18 here. It had a leg higher, but amongst that leg higher, creating a higher low from the breakout lows back in October. Then the move breaking out above reached previous resistance, spending more time in this congestion area it spent a little time before it, just having what's looking to be an amazing successful correction amongst the 18 average of lows. 2 days ago, it resisted the highs, and in yesterday's section, it stayed near it, but today's is leaving such an event, breaking through some shorter term levels of resistance. Amongst the 4-hour term, we can see here, there was this little break here on the single hour. Nicely done after breaking this point in here, spending about 6-7 hours just hanging in there, supporting this level, breaking its shorter term resistance it had then for the leg higher, now pulling back to its key area in which it needs to come back to, supporting all the 50. Now it's getting way too short term for me to even really care at this point as I go below the 15. But this one definitely to me has the potential, I think, to have some decent sized gains. And we take a look at it from a perspective here. And I'm going to finish this off by doing some Fibonacci upside, because what I'm looking for is a uptrend. So I'm going to take the September lows. They come in at 533, but that number I'm not concerned with. The highs come in at 1388, and I do want that number because I take the high to where it came from and its higher low of 780. So 1388 divided by 780 to the root of 1.618, multiply its low, that gives me a price objective of 1982. Well, we'll live like it's 1982. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day.